Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means Necessary. Absolutely. There go to PayPal at Deem by any means. There go to Cash App, $ Deem by any means. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It is much, much, much appreciated. Hey y'all, we got to stop this. I've been seeing it on Twitter, online, and I don't like what I'm seeing. I got to dispel some things because I do this. I told y'all the fight nobody was talking about on the card was David Morrell versus Hot Rod. I told y'all the fight that nobody was listening to or paying attention to was David Morrell versus Hot Rod. See, this is what happens when you don't do your research all the way on fighters. Hot Rod has been a top contender at 175 for like the last year or two, or maybe three. Before David Benavidez and David Morrell got to that division, Hot Rod, Govcek, maybe Yarday, Caleb Smith, and then it was then it was Dimitri Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev. Hot Rod has 29 wins, 21 knockouts, and only lost to David Benavidez, Brownie, and that was a controversial loss that people thought he should have won, and David Morrell. David Benavidez, people saying that he's not ready for David Benavidez. I've been seeing this, and I'm like, huh? David Morrell looked it better than David Benavidez at 175. What are y'all watching? Govcek and Hot Rod are on the same exact level. They're different fighters, but at the 175 division, they were both contenders. Govcek had a belt and lost it, but they was both top contenders. That's why Hot Rod got this fight. That's why he got the fight, because he was in line for it. Govcek and Hot Rod lost to the same person. So I saw Hot Rod give Arthur Beterbiev everything he wanted. Where he went wrong in that fight is he started trying to exchange with the power puncher. And we all know that's idiotic to do when you're not the power puncher. He didn't do that with David Morrell. He stayed on his bicycle. He stayed moving like I told y'all he would do. David Morrell is getting criticized, and he won basically every round. Besides Andy Cruz, David Morrell was the most dominant fighter on that card. I'm going to say it again. Besides Andy Cruz, David Morrell was the most dominant fighter on that card. This is why you can't just go fight the fight. If I would have told you Big Baby Miller his gas tank would have kept up, after what y'all saw the last fight, you would have said, Dean, I ain't got that. But it did. That's why if you think somebody's going to go up to the 175 division where guys are walking around regular weight at 200 pounds, 195 pounds, this is a different breed of man you are fighting. It's why Canelo don't want to go to 175. If it didn't matter, Caneloalvarez would be up there. Caneloalvarez for Dimitri Bivol, who is not a power puncher, and that was too much for him. David Benavidez didn't show nothing that made me feel like after watching David Morrell that they can't fight each other. I didn't see that. I don't know what y'all eyes saw. My eyes ain't see that. David Benavidez would have had just as it would have went 12 rounds with Hot Rod. It would have been the same exact fight if you would have swapped out David Benavidez for David Morrell. Yes. But I think that David Morrell had a way better chance at stopping Govcek if they would have just switched positions. David Benavidez didn't look as good as David Morrell. David Morrell literally won damn near every round. Hot Rod tried to survive the whole fight. If he would have started exchanging how he wanted to, David Morrell was laying heat on Hot Rod. I don't understand what y'all saw that made y'all think that he's not ready for David Benavidez. I did not see that. After David Benavidez for a Govcheck, you have people saying that David Benavidez should move down. Ain't nobody saying that about David Morrell. David Morrell was the bigger man. David Morrell David Benavidez's power, people were saying, didn't translate to the 175 division. David Morrell's power was every bit still there. Wasn't nothing different. So unless you're telling me if David Benavidez that fought Govcheck, David Morrell was better than Govcheck. If that David Benavidez would have fought David Morrell, he would have lost. Period. Why are we acting like David Benavidez had the super best? Do y'all remember what they was just saying about David Benavidez after the Govcheck fight? Why are we talking like Hot Rod is not him? Hot Rod has lost to 2 people, really 3 people, but the one person he lost to, it was controversial. Most people think he won that fight. It was a super controversial win, a split decision for Browning. You're not going to beat a 33-year-old veteran. You're not going to just mop the floor with a 33-year-old veteran who got 32 fights, 29 wins, and 21 knockouts. That's not an easy person to just go play with. Did y'all not watch Hot Rod versus Arthur Beterbiev? He was laying heat on Beterbiev. The problem was he got comfortable with it. He didn't continue to stay on his bicycle and box. He started trying to exchange something he knew he could not do with David Morrell. But we're not even giving David Morrell credit for that. David Morrell stalked that man from ding ding to ding ding. David Benavidez needs more experience at the 175 division, I was told. That's what I was told. So there ain't nobody on this earth that's going to convince me that David Morrell I saw yesterday and the David Benavidez I saw against Govcheck is just this wide gap. What is y'all watching? Somebody please tell me what y'all watching. Hot Rod might be the better fighter than Govcheck. Because Govcheck don't move like that. Govcheck is there to be hit. Is he a dog? Is he tough? Is he better than what you think? Do he be laying the wood? Absolutely. But he's not a mover. And David Benavidez is not as fast as David Morrell. So him fighting a Hot Rod would have even been a little even crazier. Because David Benavidez would have been trying to catch him all night. I know y'all want me to talk about Ryu and Pitbull, and I promise you I'm going to get to it. But I cannot let this be out there like David Morrell just was doing so bad. I seen David Morrell dominate that fight. Besides Andy Cruz, David Morrell had the best performance of the night. He was the most dominant in this fight, and he was moving up to a different weight division just like Terrence Crawford. So Terrence Crawford gets the benefit of the doubt when he fights a guy with 11 fights. David Morrell don't get the benefit of the doubt when he fights a bigger man who has more experience than the guy Terrence Crawford was fighting. How do y'all think Hot Rod got the fight and got in position to get to the belt? Y'all need to start doing your research on these fighters before you start, because this is not me giving y'all revisionist history, y'all. Go look at the fight everybody not talking about, my David Benavidez, my David Morrell and Hot Rod video. Go look at it and then come back and holler at me. I told y'all what it was. I told y'all this had potential to be the best fight of the night. Well, it wasn't the best fight of the night, but it was a tough fight. Like I knew it would be. Only person that's surprised by this is y'all. Because you obviously haven't been watching enough David Morrell and you haven't been watching enough Hot Rod. See, before I started giving my opinion on Hot Rod, I went back in the archives and started watching the man. Because he got full fights on YouTube. So I knew, okay, David Morrell, he's going to have to try to stalk him all night. He's going to be running around. He's going to be using his feet. He's going to be on that bicycle. Hey, y'all, if a fighter wants to try to survive, y'all, if he's honed in on surviving, that's exactly what he's going to do no matter who you are. That's all Hot Rod did was try to survive. I cannot let y'all go with this David Morrell not ready for David Benavidez, or David Morrell's not a monster, or none of that. If he wasn't a monster, Hot Rod would have been trying to exchange with him. Go back and watch that fight. If he wasn't a monster, Hot Rod is on his bicycle for the smaller man coming up. Golfcheck didn't do that with David Benavidez. He brought the fight to David Benavidez. Because David Benavidez is not a mover like that himself. So I don't know, y'all. I can't get jiggy with what y'all saying out here. Y'all my guys. I love y'all. Everybody on Twitter, everybody on Instagram, everybody on YouTube. But I'm seeing something and I'm like, that's not true. That is not true. David Morrell had a better performance at his first performance at 175 than David Benavidez did. And they both was facing top contenders at that weight division prior to them getting there. That is a fact. That is not me making something up. That is a fact. If you think you're going to just walk through a guy that got 32 fights, he's 33 years old, 29 wins, 21 knockouts, only lost to Beterbiev in a split decision that he should have won. Just because guys are more talented, just because a guy is better, these guys are still professional boxers, my guys. They are still professional boxers, veterans that know what they are doing. And how we know that, because look at how rough of a time Terrence Crawford had last night with Madrimov, who don't got half of the experience that Hot Rod has. Not at the professional level, he doesn't. Y'all already know what this is, right? Dean by any means. And I holla at y'all.